Live from San Antonio, Mike Taylor.
It's Ass Whip Tuesday. I think we're right on the same page today, too, which should get us right to the point, and that is running backs talk. I don't want to address it, but it's so much right now out there with it being commented upon all over the country and football players having meltdowns on Twitter over it and accusing the NFL of conspiring against all running backs.
Yeah, I mean, how will
Saquon
Barkley ever feed a family on $10.1 million?
Here's the thing. The NFL did not just decide, hey, let's shit on running backs for the next 5 years. There is quantitative analysis. There is data. You do not pay running backs. How many frickin' years have I been preaching about this? Really, before I had any gray hair, that's for sure. So my ass whip today is the running back panic talk. Again, and I beseech you, Thunderdome, please do not fall victim to the wrong side of history when it comes to running backs talk in the modern NFL. Just because you know who they all are because they get the ball all the time and score a bunch of touchdowns. There are 1,000 guys in this country who can be as productive as Saquon Barkley because that's how the NFL's set up. Yes, there are elite ones. That's their problem. You can't pay them. It's stupid. You pay the passer. You pay the pass protector. You pay the pass rusher. Then you pay the corner, and then you pay the left tackle. And then nobody else gets paid. That's how it goes in the NFL. So that's my ass whip. I think that's yours too.
Yeah, we can debate the order and what you pay them.
And I don't want to, but you don't pay running backs.
Those are the positions that were in some order top five. Yeah, no, it's interesting too because specifically, can you remember, like the NBA has gone through similar changes in positional value. I mean, look, Sagana Diop was a $20 million year center in the early 2000s. Like, I mean, Tiago Splitter was on a multiple tens. I think he topped out at like 13 million or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are
fucking stiff.
Right. Like there are.
Okay.
And
I don't want to get. I'm gonna get in trouble. He's family, but yes, your point stands.
I love Tiago.
I do. Too.
I had high hopes. I had hopes. Yeah. But we've seen different leagues shift how they value players, and in turn, cause their contract averages to decrease dramatically. That's all that's happening to the running back position. The making the Austin Ecklers or the Taylor up in Indianapolis.
Jonathan Taylor. Was he bitching too?
Of course, yeah. The Derrick Henry. Yeah, exactly. Like the guy, do you really think a position that some of the league's all-time greatest players, some of their most sweetness, Emmett, Barry Sanders, like the juice. I mean, we still got to include him. Which was harder, rushing for 2,000 yards in one season or slitting two necks in one night? We'll never know. But the league has always been a position of promotion. That's always been a position of popularity, one that drives the league's revenues. It's one that they've been able to make money off the backs of forever. Why would they want that position? Why would they be conspiring to diminish a position that has given them some of their most notable players of all time?
Correct.
That makes no sense. And that's what multiple players are alleging, that This is a league office driven top-down conspiracy, the likes of Birds Aren't Real and QAnon. It makes no sense.
Men once thought that the earth was flat. There are still a few dipshits that still think it's flat, but they're nuts. It's not flat. When it comes to baseball analysis, which has also been overkilled on talk radio for the last 10 years, they're overanalyzing, taking the human element out of the game, this kind of thing. This is the same thing as the running back argument. It is the same thing as the big man argument in the NBA. It's not that the leagues or sports have just let's just shift how we play and focus on quarterbacks. It's called evolution. It's called discovery. After 80 years of playing football one way, some smart guys realized, holy shit, there's a better way to play this game.
Yeah.
And it's not featuring the running back.
Well, do you remember in my lifetime, not that long ago, having an elite fullback was key to your run game.
But it never should have been. It didn't have
exactly.
to be.
That's my whole point.
They didn't know what they were doing.
And once people realized, wow, paying Mike Allstott multiple millions of dollars, that's not a very wise investment. Now that we've got this thing called a salary cap.
We're 3-13. And then you throw the salary cap in there, and you really can't pay these guys. I'm sorry. It sucks.
It's the progression of the economics of the league.
The philosophy changed because the data says it needed to.
Do you want to hear something insane?
It's called discovery.
Do you know what running back in the league this coming season right now has the most guaranteed money coming their way?
Golly.
Most guaranteed money. I'm talking not bonus structure where on paper they've only got a $2 million salary. And
it's a trick question.
It's not a trick question if you think about it, but it shows you how diminished the contract value running backs have in the league.
Derrick Henry?
Nope.
It was going to be Zeke, I think.
It would have been.
I don't know.
Think
Tony Pollard.
Think the
He's most get $10 million next year.
Think the most recent running back to join the league.
Bijan Robinson?
Bijan Robinson has the most guaranteed cash coming his way than any running back in the league this next year.
And it's how much?
$16 million, I think.
Jesus.
I think that's what I saw.
He played a fucking down.
Right.
Again, and they took him in the top 10.
Contract bonus, signing bonus.
The reason why the Atlanta Falcons are only good once every 15 years is because they draft running backs in the first round because they don't know what they're doing. They are perpetually stupid.
And even if Bijan turns out to be as generational, because we've had this argument multiple times. I don't want to stumble down.
Generational running backs.
That's my whole point. There are generational running backs, but they don't equate to winning like they used to whatsoever. Like Adrian Peterson is a generational running back, no question.
But even
Derrick Henry is a generational running back, no question. Vikings, what was their deepest run with Adrian Peterson as the dominant in his prime running back? Well, exactly. Yeah. Titans. Maybe didn't they make sneak into an AFC championship game a couple of years ago?
Sure.
But still, sure. Exactly. They're still elite, but they just don't equate to winning.
Tony Pollard had a deadline yesterday, come and go. The Cowboy running back who is now the feature guy with Zeke. I still think Zeke's going to be a Cowboy before the end of the summer.
Give it time.
Because he's got nowhere else to go. He's out of options, and they'll bring him back just because they like him.
Dalvin Cook can't even find a job after a month on the street.
Fuck him. I mean, I'm sorry. You make take $1 million bucks or less,
that felt
and
personal.
we'll talk about
Fuck him.
No, I'm ass whipped by the talk. It's not personal. Fuck the concept of Dalvin Cook.
We go.
Not fuck him personally. Sorry to his mom if she's watching. The deadline for the Cowboys to extend a contract for Tony Pollard is over. So he'll wind up playing on the franchise tag.
Does that surprise you?
No, it's the smart thing to do by the Cowboys.
That's why I asked, does that surprise you?
And you mentioned Austin Eckler. What a fucking spare. When he's out of the league, I'll forget he ever lived.
I think he led all running backs in total yards.
Made my point for me. When he's out of the league, no one will remember.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you play the wrong position. So Eckler's going on. And guys like Eckler and Jonathan Taylor went on a diatribe. Mm-hmm. These guys are biased because they play in the league, and it's personal for them, and they know all these guys, and that's understandable. When someone's picking on your cousin, it sucks. But they could not be more wrong, these guys that are insisting that the league's just decided not to pay everybody that plays running back. There's a hard salary cap. The NFL no longer needs an elite running back to win championships. You pay the passer, you pay the pass blocker, you pay the pass rusher. And everybody else on that field is a worker bee, a serf on the land, and that we can take or leave. We can do or we can have or have not these other guys. And that's all a bunch of running backs. You're not going to pay these. McCaffrey's different, but even then I'm hesitant.
How much winning did he lead to in Carolina?
None. He was a cog that fit what San Francisco was doing. Now, he's an elite receiver, but he's also spent half his year hurt. Again, I'm ass whipped by the whole talk of it. It's stupid. Anybody who still thinks that these guys are getting shortchanged or it's stupid or I can't make you understand. I'm not a good teacher, I guess, because I've been bitching about this for over a decade and still have people on the chat. Taylor, you're an idiot. No, I'm not. You're an idiot. I'm sorry.
What position?
The science and math is on my. And by the way, You think the Cowboys wouldn't do? You think every team in the league? You think Saquon Barkley would just stay a free agent because the Giants they're cheap? Fuck that! They're New York. They want to win the championship as bad as anybody, and they know they don't need this kid.
Well, again, they offered him
cut.
the franchise tag. Which,
sure.
How
That's
will he survive on $10 million? Him or Josh Jacobs? I mean, he'll hold out, and they'll eventually. He'll probably eventually cave, but or they do exactly what the Cowboys did and cave to him and give him the Zeke-like contract, only to regret it.
No, they won't. The Giants don't do that shit.
I don't think so.
No, they won't. The Giants will. Too bad. So sad. Sit out all year. It won't have any impact on the ultimate record of the team, how far they go in the postseason, because they'll go find somebody who they can plug in. They probably already have the guy on the roster. I know Saquon Barkley's elite, but you don't. It's seriously, you don't need it. You just don't. It's like having a bunch of drummers in a band try out for you. Give me the drummer who might be a little bit less talented, but he's putting in work and he's cheaper, especially when I have a budget here with my band. I think that I'm trying to use all the analogies I can come up with to make everybody once and for all understand how this works. But again, it's also because they're famous, because they get the ball all the time and they score touchdowns. If we're talking about free safeties, we never even bring this up on the show.
Well, that's a perfect example, because where was the discourse surrounding the safety position over the last 5 years as the franchise tag dropped $6 million over the combined 5 years?
No one cared.
Where it decreased in value by 50% of what it used to be. I mean, it's literally, that's the frustrating thing to me is it seems really hard for people to understand that comparing running back salary to a quarterback salary is apples to oranges. It's just what are you taking away from that, or what point do you think you're making? Well, I mean, they gave Daniel Jones $40 million. Yeah, he's barely a top 15 quarterback, but the market determines $40 million for a 14th to 18th best quarterback in the league. That's the going price. Running back does not hold that value.
It's apples and bowling balls.
Yes.
All right, we have a lot to do today. It's a special show. We want to make a big announcement here in a minute. But first, let's talk about how you can get yourself a kick-ass Thunderdomer mortgage man. If you're thinking about upgrading and you're wondering how much you can afford, call to get pre-qualified over at Thunderdome's Mortgage Company. Hardwick Mortgage, that's who. Housing values in this area have skyrocketed over the years. It's a lot of controversy, but if you're a homeowner, take advantage of it. If you need money, use the equity you built up in your home over the years and pay off a bunch of debt. Go put some cash in your bank account. Call Brad Hardwick and see what you might be able to get done. Maybe you're in the market to buy a new house. Hardwick Mortgage can shop all over the area. Call multiple lenders to get the best deal for you. They are Poodle Thunderdome. Maybe you're looking to buy a used manufactured home, like on some land. Maybe you're looking to just purchase some acreage. They do that too at Hardwick Mortgage at 500-3835. The information presented is for informational purposes. It's not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Information and or dates are subject to change without notice. All loans are subject to credit approval. Other restrictions may apply. As a result of refinancing, your total finance charges may be higher over the life of the loan. Visit Hardwick Mortgage for more information. Hardwick Financial Services, NMLS ID 1972-012, Hardwick Mortgage. All right, Bubba. Here, open that. Don't hit me in the face with it.
Oh, God. Yeah, I was about to say.
Try not to hit a camera either.
Oh, yeah, face it that way. Don't hit the dog. Don't hit me.
The track record of these are...
Don't hit yourself in the ass and give yourself another portal.
Yeah, I almost saw...
We're back in the room where Puma busted ass last year, and this was the place we were doing the show before, in which he busted ass one night and caused that massive hematoma on his butt cheek.
There's the scientific term.
Deep bruise. Don't point that thing at me.
You're fine. We're still 3 steps away.
I don't want it bouncing off me neither. Lawrence is overthinking. It's just his idea. He's like, fuck. I didn't
shake it up?
No, I
feel like you're setting me up.
Show 1,000, we'll shake it up.
Okay.
Oh, okay, you did it. Oh, okay, now, baby. Good job. Here, pour me a little
Harmless.
bit. Pour me a little bit. Pour me a little. I can't just have straight champagne this time of day either. I need a little orange juice in mine.
We'll top it with orange juice.
I need some pesto. Is that pesto? Was it the great Bill Burr does a good bit about Sunday brunch with women? They're fucking mimosas and their pesto. Is that pesto? Is that pesto? Let me reach over and get me some. So today, Thunderdome, Lawrence, you want some? Say yes.
Fuck yeah.
Today and this will be funny for folks that just realized that we're doing this show in the last month.
There's a glass right there.
Now that this is the only show that I currently...
Just a splash, though, of orange juice.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the only show, this is the only thing that I'm a part of. I think a lot of people didn't know that we've been doing this show for over a year and a half. We just did it like once a week and twice a week or every 3 months. And it went on a hiatus the earlier part of the year. But now that I have moved on from big boy radio, terrestrial radio, and this is my full-time job. It's every day, and a lot of y'all have realized, oh, wow, they're doing this every day. So I'm going to raise a glass to everybody who's been here from day one, all the way to people that this is their first time listening ever today, that people that are doing, holy shit, Taylor's been doing this for a year? Yeah. I've been doing this every day now. So here's to show 100. It's episode 100, bitches. What's up? We made it. 100.
There's the fanfare.
What's up? Bang. So thank you, boys, that have been a part of this thing, who have subscribed to this thing, who have become members of this thing. Yes, it's Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
It's not really champagne. It's not. It doesn't have to be. It literally has to be made in France to be champagne. So what is that? Swill?
Some
Booney?
Sparkling wine, it appears.
Some Cali Gold.
Cali Gold.
Why does my camera look like weird? It looks like a 1985, like a digitized pixelization.
I don't know. He had all kinds of shit going on in here today before you got here.
Fun dynamic.
Yeah, he was cussing. You never see the turmoil that goes on between 9:30 and 9:50.
I was about to say, what do I miss? How is
him getting ready?
Just a lot of gratuitous cussing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not gratuitous. I mean, he's ass whipped because he's busy
I'm
trying
ass
to get
whipped
shit
right
to
now
work.
because it's literally like it looks like a Game Boy camera.
And you know he's
right
a
now.
control. It
looks like a Game Boy camera. I don't know.
LG is a perfectionist.
Throw it on the screen on you.
Yeah. Here, check it out. I don't know if it's coming across, but on my end, it looks like super pixelated.
Yeah, I can kind of see what
like
you're
I'm
saying.
shooting with like a Motorola Razor.
Don't let that stop Thunderdome from becoming a member. We'll unpixelate the screen here in a minute. LG's a perfectionist. Yesterday, he spent 20 minutes bitching about a hum that I don't even think was going to go over the air, but he switched 15 chords in here. But I'd rather have that than the other thing.
We really shot his wheels off yesterday by sending him multiple things mid-show.
Well, I didn't know you were doing it too.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that again, so it's fine. Anyway, so that's it. Thank you, boys. I appreciate it. It's been when LG. I don't want to make this all about all nostalgic. It's only 100. Let's not circle jerk just yet. Let's get to 200 or 500. But it's okay. We're still drinking. He tried to get me to do this show for a while. This was going to be he wanted to do a television show, which I'm still not opposed to. We better hurry, though, because I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, this show was kind of like a happy accident, basically.
Kind of, yeah. I got divorced and needed the money. I needed a side hustle, and I was living in the most expensive city in the country. Maybe Midtown Manhattan competes with downtown Honolulu. Honolulu was more expensive than Paris to live in. So I'm like, I called LG. All right, dude. You know what it was? You know what my moment was? I needed some extra money. Not that we don't get rich at all on this damn show. But I just needed some extra spending money to get food because after I was getting paid for my heart and shipping out child support and paying my bills on time, if I wanted to pay them on time, I had about $18 left for 8 days. I'm like, well, I guess I'm eating wieners at 7-Eleven again. And that's stupid. So, hey, the hot dogs at 7-Eleven are not terrible.
Oh, that wasn't a metaphor.
No,
okay.
I wasn't sucking wiener for money.
I thought you were eating wiener at 7-Eleven for more money.
Oh, like in the back alley? No.
To then go get actual good food.
Well, I didn't want it to come to that. Gotcha. I took a job working at a place called Giovanni Pastrami. It's an Italian restaurant in the middle of Waikiki. Because when you think Italian, you think Waikiki.
If you had asked me the location of that restaurant without telling me where it was, I would have guessed like Tucson, Arizona. Or like somewhere.
Well, I was living in Waikiki.
Very opposite.
Needed a job. And I got a job. I decided, you know what, fuck it. And maybe it'll be good it'll humble me some. Not that I needed humbling, but whatever. I decided I took a job as a busboy and a food runner at an Italian restaurant in Waikiki in late 2021. And lasted about 2 weeks. And it was about 2 miles to get to work back and forth. I lived about a mile from the restaurant. And it's hard to park in Waikiki, so I decided I'll just walk. So I was doing my show for iHeart. I'd go home and take a nap, and then I would get up, put on shitty clothes. I went over to Ross and bought like generic black sneakers that were $30 just because it was required to wear that kind of shoes at the restaurant I took the job in, and walked a mile. That's not like an old man giving an old school story.
Yeah, that's why.
And after about 5 days of bussing tables, I mean, here I am doing a big-time radio show in San Antonio, Texas in the morning, and then I'm bussing tables at night. And about the 5th or 6th night, I'm walking back to my apartment. And it's about 2:30 in the morning. The only people on the street in Waikiki are homeless people, crazy people, and dudes sucking dick in alleys for money behind 7-Eleven.
Hey, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot.
And me. So here I am walking along there's a huge canal that goes right through the heart of Waikiki. It's like spillage from the ocean, but they formed it into a canal, whatever. It's what separates Waikiki from Honolulu. Anyway, I'm walking along the canal. I think I passed what I think was a dead guy. He was face down on the concrete.
No, he's fine.
I'm sure he smelled like fresh piss, so he either had just died or he just didn't give a shit. And then I looked, and I just like stopped, and I'm like, I needed a break because I was tired, because I was in the middle of a mile walk home, and I needed a break. And I just stopped down, and I looked over the railing into the canal, and I looked down and saw this huge rat swimming in the river, big fucking swamp rat, And I'm like, what am I doing?
They have nutria in Honolulu.
Fucking capybara was huge. Fucking beavers in Waikiki. I don't know what it was, but it was a marsupial. It wasn't even a rodent. And I think, what are you doing? And so the next morning, I texted Lawrence and said, let's fucking do this. Let's go. Because he'd been wanting to do something with me. And I was lazy, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do another radio show. I've done 3 hours every day. I don't want to turn around and do another show. Needed a little bit of the coin. So we started doing this show, and show 1, ironically, was here in this house. But it was after I had come home, I knew I was about to come home, and that's when I decided, all right, fuck it, we're going to do this show. And we started it with Lawrence, and I stayed at the restaurant a couple of more weeks because I wanted to see if we can generate any revenue doing this. And again, we make a little bit of money, but it's not nearly enough to pay our bills. It's just enough to supplant, some stuff. I'm not sure if that's the right word. I guess I'm meandering here, but my point is, thank you. And we're 100 episodes in. This is now my full-time job, which is insane. It went from desperate Mike looking at swamp rats and dead people into a canal in Waikiki thinking, fuck it, let's give it a go.
Potentially dead people.
I never went back to I didn't poke him or nothing to find out. I walked home defeated, filthy, dirty and sweaty and beaten down mentally. Had some dark nights in those days. I've told you about this, and decided, fuck it, let's do this show. And now it's 100 episodes in, but here, this is week 5 of us doing this full-time 5 days a week. And, man, we've got 7 partners. In 1 month of doing this, we've got 7 partners to partner up with this show. And we get a decent amount of people that watch it and listen to it. So thank you. If If you've become a member of this show, thank you. If you subscribe to this show, thank you. If you just watch it and you haven't clicked on nothing, but you still watch it, thank you too. Although I'd really like you to hit that like button. Yeah, I've got a lot better at this YouTube.
We love the lurkers too.
The lurkers are fine, but they don't fucking help the cause. Help the cause by becoming a member or subscribe. Subscribing is absolutely free, and becoming a member is only $6 a month. And the more subscribers we get, the better we look to YouTube. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. By the way, today's show is being simulcasted on all platforms, including Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So maybe some more of this bubbly. So here. We'll move on now, but that's all I wanted to talk about today. So thank you, boys, who've been a part of this with me, and I appreciate it. Thank you to people like Elite Collision. Brand new partner, just started yesterday. North of the Rim off of I-10. It is the official Collision Center of Thunderdome. Elite Collision of Bertie, Texas. Locally owned and operated by San Antonio people. Hit them up at elitecollisionofbernie.com. If you've been in an accident, you can find Elite Collision just north of the Rim, in between Bernie and the Rim on I-10. They are longtime Thunderdomers, family owned and operated, like I said. Weekly appointments available. They work with all insurances. They'll do private pay, of course, too. Collision repairs, fender benders, hail damage, paint jobs. This is not like what Ernest used to work at. My stepdad Ernest used to work at a collision center. Although in those days, I think we called them paint and body shops. Horseshit. It was a chop shop. Elite Collision of Bernie, not a chop shop. They don't even have a bear in their backyard, because I've been over there. They are legit, and they're Thunderdome. And if you've got some bumps and bruises on your car, hit up my boys at Elite Collision of Bernie. It is elitecollisionofbernie.com. Elitecollisionofbernie.com. All right, this is your segment, Puma. That I went and I spent a lot of time last night on this. So let me get through this, and I want to hear your response, because you know how jazzed I get when this happens. I was vaguely aware of this, but I guess I had forgotten about it because it had been a long time.
See, I had never heard of it.
Okay, well, because he went on a spree there for a couple of years and then went dark.
And it was when I was like,
you were a kid.
6.
No, this started in 2010.
Oh, I thought he was.
Oh,
okay.
All right, let's tell the story.
Okay,
we have another serial killer.
Yeah.
So let me here, shout out to this. You know how I love serial killers.
It's only appropriate. Show 100. We're doing serial killer talk.
All right, we have ourselves a modern-day son of Sam, if you will, because this guy's up in New York. This is the most prolific serial killer, certainly the most infamous that area has seen, not in direct Midtown Manhattan where the son of Sam was murdering women. This was out on Long Island, but close enough. He is the most prolific serial killer in the New York tri-state, tri-county area since the son of Sam, David Berkowitz, in the late 70s. You know where Massapequa Park is?
Heard of it, but...
It's Long Island.
Yeah.
So in 2010, they found a woman dumped in the sand dunes. That's real beachy, Long Island. Tons of beach. And they found a beach of the beach. See, you start giving me champagne at 10 a.m.
Yeah, this is going to be full of dad jokes.
They find a chick dead. Very unfortunate. Young woman dead, had been partially buried in the sand dunes. Legs sticking out. Just a terrible, clearly a homicide. This was in December of 2010. Probably a week or two after that, then the cops up there in Long Island, they discovered parts of 3 more women nearby on this spit of sand called Gilgo Beach, which is near Massapequa. And then all of a sudden, over the next couple of months, 6 more bodies show up near Gilgo Beach, same area. Now all of a sudden it's gotten huge, blows up in early 2011, and the media started referring to it as the Gilgo Beach murders. This is one of the, and over the years, the media would love to give serial killers nicknames. Or the serial killer would give themselves a nickname and the media would run with it. In modern times, the FBI and state and local officials now, they beg the media, please don't give this asshole a nickname. It just glorifies the whole thing. We don't need you to do that. And so it's just been the Gilgo Beach murderer. That's all they've called it. Well, then all of a sudden, in the spring of 2011, an 11th person was found dead. She was near the beach, but on the highway, like on the side of the road. So the first 10 were actually down in the sand dunes, buried, partially. Then they found one who was laying dead nude on the side of the road, and that looked like, well, okay, she must have struggled. It's like maybe she almost got away, or he panicked and just dumped her on the side of the road rather than take the time to take her down into the sand. And so that has just left authorities baffled for years until this last few weeks when finally authorities in Long Island, New York, caught a break, had some discoveries thanks to science, NFL running backs, science and data, and DNA and quantitative analysis. Finally, they have made an arrest this weekend, and wait till you see all the. Have you read all the evidence they have on the guy?
Oh, yeah.
He's pled not guilty. What the fuck are you doing? What are you, Austin Eckler? You talking about being in denial. This guy's name is Rex Howerman. And basically, long story short, eating pizza crust taken out of trash cans because once investigators got wind that it might be this guy.
Wait, say that again. He wasn't eating pizza crust out of trash cans.
No, he threw them in the trash. Okay,
yeah.
let me rephrase. Because I'm still getting caught up on all this. This has all just come down the last 48 hours. It's huge news up in New York. Huge news of me because it's, serial killer. And he's gotten caught. So now I got to delve into his entire biography. So in recent weeks, investigators up there have gotten wind that it might be this guy, Rex Howerman. So they've had undercover officers following him around. And they were, because he actually he lived in Long Island, worked in the city. He's a fucking architect, highly educated, owns his own architect company.
He's also a pretty hulking figure himself.
Huge dude.
Yeah, big dude.
Been married for years. Yeah. No, she's not been charged with anything. They don't suspect that she had a clue. And they started following him on his commute from Long Island into the city. And he stopped for pizza one day for lunch, on lunch break, and threw the crust in the trash can. The investigators went and got the pizza crust out of the trash can, ran the DNA.
You're always being watched.
Matched the DNA on the pizza crust to a couple of the girls. Motherfucker, we got him. And he's a 59-year-old guy, Rex Howerman. Police, prosecutors in that area have a ton of evidence against him. He's a suburban white guy living in Long Island. But the crazy parts that I read this morning were, like, they don't think his wife knew because the killings happened to coincide with his wife being out of town.
Yeah.
Visiting her mom. She's from Iceland. His wife, she would go back to Iceland, see relatives, and it was like the timeline of his wife was out of town in Reykjavik. 2 bodies showed up in the 2 weeks she was out of town. Clearly the dude's
circumstantial,
doing it.
But
And then, of course, him being a 59-year-old dumbass. I could never be a serial killer because I'm so technically just challenged.
Well, for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons. He was a dumbass. They've got tons of evidence on his cell phone. And
that evidence includes?
Well, there's a whole lot.
There's a lot of salacious evidence.
There's a lot.
Like a lot of...
Go ahead, you say it.
Searching for sex workers on Craigslist and Googling a bunch of BDSM.
Well, yeah, that was his bit. And on his phone, they found...
child pornography.
Yeah, well, they also found torture porn.
That's correct.
He liked to watch... Somewhere in this world, human beings make porn where the woman is literally tortured on camera for money.
Consensually.
I know, but God almighty.
What do we get for $10?
She needs therapy is what she needs. Anyway, so
it's gonna take more than $10.
They got a hold of his cell phone, and yeah, you're right. All this crazy shit was in there. They've even been able to do a voice match because the dumbass one night after he killed one of the girls took her cell phone and went through it and found where it said mom.
Called the parent.
Called her mom. Hey, I just killed your baby. Oh, God.
So the bodies that they are directly connecting him to, those are the ones from like 2010-ish.
Correct.
They think he's connected to bodies that date back as far as 96.
Well, they're talking to him now about all that.
Right.
We'll see. He's pled not guilty as of now. But it's like, dude, we got your DNA.
Yeah,
They also found hair in his car, and they found hair on a burlap sack in his car, in his trunk of his car. Ugh, it's so gross. And they also matched, and funny enough, on one of the victims' bodies, they found one of his wife's hairs. She wasn't there, but he lived with her. You know, like he's sleeping next to her. You probably got Steph's hair all over you.
Yeah,
I've got
easily.
Nina hair all over me. You know, just microscopic hairs. So he's dead to rights. He's caught and he's busted. And he's off the street and it's been sold. God, what do you do if you're the wife? Sorry, baby, I've been butchering women for 30 years, and that happens a lot. Like Ted Bundy, strapping husband, family, but he was a traveling salesman. BTK up in Kansas, deacon of the church,
deacon,
four
yeah.
daughters, just a light of the community in northern Kansas. A lot of these guys, they're able to compartmentalize their evil, and they are just like kind of like Walter White. You know, you're just this strapping rando guy, happy-go-lucky father and husband at home, and you're butchering chicks day and night whenever your wife's out of town. And the weird part is, you know, he has a great job. He owns an architectural company, but their house is like a ramshackle house. It's a shitty house. All the neighbors say, oh, yeah, they were total weirdos. They would see the wife from time to time out in the yard, and the neighbors were like, every time I saw her, she was like in a house coat, hair all fucked up, no makeup, all times of the day. Yeah, so God only knows, dude. They have 2 grown kids, and the kids are gone. God only knows. But that's what, and the neighbors were always like, this guy owns an architectural company, but he lives in a shack. Just mentally, he's fucked up. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
I don't think that's enough of a red flag to alert anything, you know, alert more suspicions than they probably had to begin with. But
I don't know how to segue out of this because I got to talk about San Antonio City Youth Soccer Club.
well, that's going to be an unfortunate.
Well, let's just there's our new that's our new lead into that's that's the word that bails me out of the ditch. Thank you to the San Antonio City Soccer Club. And I got more serial killer news on the other side of this live spot. All right, San Antonio City Soccer Club, we need sponsors. It is the official soccer club of this show. It is San Antonio City Soccer Club. We need field names. We need 8. We got, looks like we're about to have a sponsor, but I'm not ready to make it official yet. But I can safely say it's on third base as we speak.
No one told me.
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but they built 8 new fields up there this year, and the location, and they're all over the city. San Antonio City Soccer Club is huge. Got 1,500 kids. They built 8 new fields up off 1604 in Blanco off of Speck Road. And there's 11 total soccer fields. They've totally refurbished 8 of them. And we need people that want to put their names on these fields. You will get the field named after you, after your company. For the duration of any agreed sponsorship, you can come to an agreement with the officials at San Antonio City Soccer Club. Practice, tournaments, other organizational activities, keep these fields in constant use. People will see the name of your company on these fields every time they go. Fields are sure to receive high exposure from players and fans and spectators, and even us. We're going to go out for a few games this year. Get your name on the field. Get your name on the entrance signs, field banners. We'll put you all over the social media they got, all over the website link, and then I will give you all kinds of love on this show here. It is the official soccer club of Thunderdome. It is San Antonio City Soccer Club. Okay. You sent me this too last night. I'm going to entertain this, although part of me wants to call bullshit on this.
Well, yeah.
Some gal now says she's convinced she knows who Jack the Ripper was, as in the 1888 murders.
Doesn't it feel like we get one of these stories like every 5 or so years?
Sure. I think it was Hunter Biden. He was Jack the Ripper 2 years ago.
At this point, it's kind of like chasing Bigfoot. Seriously.
Very much
Yeah,
so.
I know. You sent me this.
This one at least
And I read a little bit of it. Yeah, she's looked at a lot of science and data, but there's just so few to go on. It was 1888 when this went down. She's convinced that it was not some quack doctor. You know, of course, but I've always thought it was some smart doctor, a physicist, or an anatomy doctor.
Or a
sort of
dentist or someone that
somebody
had,
who knew the body.
Yeah.
And it may be like the guy in New York or Ted Bundy. He was compartmentalizing by day. He's this strapping doctor with a family and everything. And then at night, he's butchering women.
Specifically prostitutes. Actually pretty spot on.
They're easy targets.
Yeah.
You know, they're just easy.
I love you long time.
And this, of course, Jack the Ripper. And no one even knows what his actual name is. Jack the Ripper is what... Because
Laszlo, that's his real name.
Whoever did it sent letters to authorities in 1888 and signed it Jack the Ripper. But that's all we can go on. This crazy bastard, as most of y'all know, he didn't just want to kill them. He wanted to disembowel them. And the methods that were used to disembowel the women led authorities to believe this guy is some kind of educated doctor. Well, this gal in England now, whose great-grandfather was on the original investigation team of Jack the Ripper in the 1880s. So she's just obsessed with it because her great-grandpa was involved.
I would be as well if I was her.
But that don't mean she's worth her spit. And
sure.
She's got
and researchability.
Yeah, that don't mean she's got any credibility.
But it means she has access.
Yeah. She thinks it was some local idiot who made cigars for a living. And, you know, back in the 1880s, in order to make cigars, you needed to be good with a little hatchet and these little metal tools that cigar makers back in the day had to use. Of course, cigar making now is, unless it's like made by hand in Cuba, it's made by robots in a lab. But in those days, it was a painstaking thing, and you had to be good with a blade.
Yeah, it was a precise skill that required blade work.
Yeah, for sure.
That might not necessarily mean you know how to make. Precise incisions on the human body, but at least you're comfortable with knives.
Right. So things have gone well in New York. That guy's guilty as shit, but I don't know if I'm highly speculative of this new claim coming out of the England.
Yeah, stuttering prickhead.
Out of the England.
It feels like, like I said, it feels like every 5 years or so, someone finds some evidence that supports a new narrative.
It's like Bigfoot.
Very much so. It's becoming that. And even as the only person on this program that has laid in 3 of Jack the Ripper's murder locations and reenacted the position of the body as they found it in the late 1800s, I'm here to tell you, the British don't fucking care about Jack the Ripper at this point.
No.
It's literally their Bigfoot.
Like Madame Tussauds Museum at
Pretty
this point.
much, yeah.
Come here and read all about Jack. Dude, it's 1888, man. Sorry, we had no technology.
And it's East London. They still don't care about that part of London anyway.
God, no. They were on their own in Millwall. That's why they have to defend themselves against terror and not get any help from the local London authorities. All right. The Cowboys are getting ready to go to Oxnard. We are just a couple of weeks away from having some mother effing Cowboy football. See.
I want me some glory hole.
So, did you boys see the news, though, in Oxnard this last couple of days preceding the arrival of America's team?
Yeah, this is great. This is peak Cowboys.
This is so fucking Cowboys. So, the demand to get into Cowboy training camp is so huge, and so many celebrities want to make the drive up to Oxnard. It's about 45 miles or so out of L.A. Jump on the Pacific Highway, head up into Oxnard. It's a beautiful town up in the mountains along the ocean front. It's gorgeous. And because of the demand for training camp, this year the Cowboys are trying. So what Jerry decided this year, probably, I'm about to die. I'm fucking 80, so I want all my friends to come to camp. The Cowboys this year, and it's already a very invasive thing in that little town to have the Cowboys there. And the fans for years have been cool. The residents have been fine.
What's Oxnard? Oxnard about the size of probably Uvalde? Like 40,000 people? It's bigger than that?
Yeah, check that. I want to say it's probably closer to 80, maybe 100,000. I've been out there for training camp once. Years and years ago, back when iHeart covered sports, I went to training camp one year. And yeah, Katie.
Uvalde's 15,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Uvalde's smaller.
I thought it was closer to 30.
I want to say it's like 75,000. That being said, the residents, as far as I know, have never really had any problems with the Cowboys being there. They know that it's good for the local economy. What is it, 150,000?
Try 202,000.
Okay, it's gotten bigger. Okay, yeah. I know it's not podunk.
I didn't realize it was that big, though.
But it's good for the economy to have the Cowboys up there. A bunch of celebrities will drive up from Hollywood and L.A. to hang out. Denzel Washington's a big old Cowboy fan. Samuel L. Jackson's a big old Cowboy fan. Lots of guys. Who else shows up every year? Jamie Foxx always goes. Not this year. He's still rehabbing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so point being, it's been fine. The residents know, hey, for the next 3 weeks, Cowboys will be here, and it's pretty cool. They don't care. Bunch of whatever. Well, now all of a sudden, Jerry's decided he wants all of his buddies to go to see camp every day. So he had the team and the city build this huge, I don't know if it's like a platform, bunch of bleachers.
It's a 2-story platform.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they build at golf tournaments when they have a major. You always see the fans in the background, those makeshift platforms. Jerry had one of those built right over the practice fields in Oxnard. Problem is, all those people that have $900,000 homes on the other side of the fucking makeshift bleacher, in their backyard, they just see a giant white wall in their face. No view of the field, no view of the beautiful mountains, no view of the beautiful ocean that they paid lots of money to live next to because it's being blocked by Jerry's fucking bleachers.
You should talk to your city leaders that agree let the Cowboys host training camp there.
Y'all can bitch all you want. So a bunch of residents in Oxnard got together and filed an official complaint to the city of Oxnard. Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, that's about as powerful as a strongly worded email to the
Good luck.
UIL.
Yeah,
good luck with that.
All right, so I'm getting myself into cowboy mode. And I don't know if y'all ever read my columns or not. You don't have to. I don't care. It's fine. But I wrote a column a couple of days ago for Monday morning. There are reports now. Of course, let me say this. The Cowboys don't have any. They need a kicker. They decided to get rid of knucklehead Brett Maher, who had a mental meltdown at the end of the year, obviously, like I've never seen. So they brought in Plano's own Brandon Aubrey, who kicked in the USFL, but he was a pro soccer player before that. Apparently, he was great in the USFL, all-pro, whatever they have, all-star kicker. Cowboys have brought him in, and by all accounts, he's been good. They're okay with him. Of course, that's in fucking, practices and, let us get into Oxnard, let us get to some preseason games, and let's see this guy Aubrey kicked in, So there are multiple rumors coming out of the Metro Six that should things go south for Brandon Aubrey, because he's never kicked in the NFL, we don't know what we're going to get, even though he looks good in practice. If things were to go south, the Cowboys, right now at the top of their list, if they were going to bring in a veteran, Robbie Gold.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit.
That's the only reason we're talking about kickers. I did read this article.
There is a rule of thought as the Cowboys get ready to go out of town that Robbie Gold could be back in the mix. All right, let me give the quicker version of this because I've shared it before. Longtime Thunder Numbers, probably have heard this. Some of you have not. In 2016, I was living in Tyler, Texas. I don't know if I was just bored, depressed, living in East Texas. Sorry, Jeff Traylor, but Beast, Texas wasn't for me as a resident. I support y'all, but I don't want to live amongst you. I don't know what happened. I had a nightmare one night. Lawrence, have you heard the Robbie Gold story? Good.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. I had a nightmare one night that my mom, I don't know if it wasn't really a nightmare because it wasn't shocking. It wasn't scary. It was weird. My mom left of course, who was she dating in 2016? My mom was she with Detroit? She used to date a dude named Detroit after the city.
Of course.
You talk like she's a journeyman bullpen arm. Was she pitching for the Royals or for the Tigers back then?
She's been all over the league. She's been to AA, AAA, had several cups of coffee on the big league level, but usually they're Durham Bulls.
Stereotypical quad A kind of player.
Pretty much, yeah. She's Steve Balboni, up and down, so to speak. So I don't know who she was dating at the time, but I had a dream that my mom ran off with Robbie Gold, the veteran kicker. I think Robbie had just finished up. Robbie was in Chicago at the time, kicking for the Bears. So in my dream, my mom called me and say, "Hey, I have moved to Chicago. I have a boyfriend. His name is Robbie Gold. He's a kicker. Do you know who he is?" I'm like, what the fuck? This is the dream. So I had a dream it wasn't shocking at all that my mother would run off on her boyfriend with another guy. That's not the news story. The news story was she's with Robbie Gold, who she's 35 years older than. And it's like, and I woke up the next morning thinking, what the fuck was that dream? I'm like, okay, cool. Your mom ran off with a dude, whatever. But why Robbie Gold?
Yeah, had they just played the Bears or Niners?
He's got no Texas ties, no Cowboy ties.
No.
Why on earth? I don't think he was in. Maybe he had been in the news, and my brain subconsciously put him into that little dream.
Yeah, but I mean, what?
It's crazy.
What media storyline is Robbie Gold driven in his career?
Know. Maybe it was. He'd had the meltdown in the playoff game for the Bears, and they got rid of him.
Yeah.
I defended him because it's like, dude, no one can kick in Chicago at nighttime in the winter in the playoffs in January. And Robbie Gold's been sensational, and he's free agent right now, but he's been great. Anyway, that was super weird. So whatever, I told the story on the air the next day, and I'm just trying to get Thunderdome to try to help me make heads or tails of it. Why on earth would I have a dream that my mom was banging Robbie Gold? That's crazy. So whatever, I forgot about it. About 3 or 4 weeks go by, and I'm doing the show one day over on the ticket, and my phone starts blowing up, and it's my stepmom, who never calls me. She always texts first. I had like 7 missed calls from Denisha, my stepmom. I'm like, oh, shit. So I go to commercial break, and she left me a voicemail. Your dad's been in an accident. He's okay, but call me when you can. Oh, this is during a show. So I told, gosh, it must have been Frosty. Like, dude, buy me 2 more minutes of promos. I need to make a call. So what happened was that day, my dad back in Fort Worth, he was taking my stepmom's mom to work. My dad's mother-in-law. So they were in the car. My dad was driving. They were on I-35 headed into Fort Worth from Alvarado, your favorite town, and there was a traffic jam. So they got backed up. But just weirdly enough, I think the story goes, my dad was like in the back of the traffic jam, and he was just over a little hill. So any cars behind couldn't see. And some asshole comes going 75 miles an hour, 80, wasn't paying attention, didn't see the brake lights in time, and plows right into the back of my dad's car full speed. The impact was so huge that it flipped my dad's car over with his 70-something-year-old mother-in-law in it. Yeah. They both were taken to the hospital in Fort Worth. They were both fine, some cuts, some bumps. But outside of being completely mentally shaken up, they were physically okay. And it's like, wow. So dad's okay? Yeah, he's fine. Just, okay, I'll call him when I get off the air. So I had to go finish the show. I called my daddy in the hospital. He was okay. He was more concerned for his mother-in-law. She was fine. So that's all over. Like, I was like, do we know who hit you? No, the guy ran. The guy that smashed into the back of my dad's car hightailed it out of there. I think he drove down the fucking embankment to the access road and blew balls out of there.
That's Alvarado for you.
Shit.
That's that whole stretch of 67 for you.
So keep in mind the dream I just had about my mom. By the way, this car wreck, this is real. This is happening. This is like 3 or 4 weeks after the Robbie Gold dream. So this actually happened. This is such a crazy story. It's hard to know what the dream was and what was real. It was all a dream. So my dad's fine. Okay, cool. So I go back to my normal life, whatever. About 3 or 4 weeks go by, and I hear from my pops, Big Mike. Turns out the guy that was driving the pickup that slammed in the back of my dad's car that day, he had stolen the truck. Had been reported stolen. And they had arrested the guy. He was from Mexico and got deported. He went to jail.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah. Some dude who was over here undocumented ripped off a pickup truck and
he's living the dream, brother.
Smashed into the back of my daddy. And the truck belonged to someone who had reported it stolen. So I don't know what shape the truck was in when the rightful owner got the truck back, but I guess the truck got eventually returned back to the owner. The owner's name of the truck, I don't remember his first name. We didn't find that. They didn't tell us that. But the last name of the owner of the pickup truck's name was Gold. not G-O-L-D, but the rare G-O-U-L-D spelling, like Robbie Gold, the fucking kicker, who I had just dreamt 3 weeks prior was banging my mother. That's it. That's all I got. That's the story. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, I don't know what other context you need to provide or what the big takeaway is here, but
that's it. And so, but here's the takeaway. Here's the takeaway. If they sign Robbie Gold, the Cowboys, I'm not going to hear the end of the story. It's going to I'm going to get reminded that I had a dream my mom was banging him. And it's already come out. I've already had several Thunder numbers this week. Did you see the Cowboys might sign Robbie Gold? Because they knew the story.
Sure.
So I really need this Brandon Aubrey to do well. So, because I don't need Robbie Gold on the Cowboys this year.
You can't wait till Robbie Gold shanks 2 on opening night and gets cut after 1 week. Yeah. They talk all training camp. Oh, no, we're confident in this Brandon Aubrey kid. They cut him on the last day, bring Robbie in
week 2.
1 game, that's all he lasts.
So there it is. That's it. That's the Robbie Gold story. It's pretty insane that they may be signing him.
I've been watching a lot of the old 90s version of Unsolved Mysteries, the original with what's his name, Robert Stack.
Okay.
I've been falling asleep to those episodes. And it seems like every other episode has some story of some old blue hair that had a dream that something was going to happen. Like there's some tangential connection from her dream to real life. You describing the Robbie Gold is like an explicit, more sexual version of an Unsolved Mysteries story. Like, I learned I had a dream about my mom banging an NFL player and my dad gets smashed in the back end
by a truck owned by a guy whose last name was Gold.
It's
not like that's a common name.
Exactly what I was about to say. That's a very unique name at that.
But like it was Smith.
Yeah.
Obviously it was just a weird coincidence. Because my parents aren't even together. They haven't been married since 1979. It was just a weird coincidence. But it's just one of those things that makes you go, That's it. That's the story. I got nothing. I don't want the Cowboys to sign him because I'm not going to hear the end of this shit all year long.
You had a dream.
Grandma Becky at the game today? Did your mom get season tickets?
You had a dream about one of your parents getting their back blown out by a Gold, and then it happened to the other one.
Correct. My mom and my dad got blown out in the back by a Gold. Thank you, Puma. Thank you for that visual.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right, show brought to you by Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of Thunderdome, the 2022 winner of the highly recommended Badass Vodka with a 91 at the Ultimate Spirits Challenge. Remarkably clean with soft expressions of wet stone and rainwater, light whispers of Douglas fir and American oak are distinct, enjoyable, and very suitable. It is Live Oak Vodka, Texas-made vodka. The home of Live Oak Vodka, Beeville. What's up? You boys ever been to Beeville? Good town.
Oh, yeah.
Go through there all the time. Been there a few times. On the way to Corpus, take a little B route, get it, B route in Beeville. It is the home of Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of Thunderdome, Live Oak Vodka. All right. I got a surprise for you, Puma.
Oh, God, this makes me nervous.
Lawrence, it is 10:59 on the Mike Taylor Live Show. So it turns out that no one claimed any rights to this god-awful song. We're not allowed to play songs that have copyrights. This one, Lawrence said we're good to play it.
How is that?
We're testing the waters.
We're guessing it doesn't have any copyrights. And this song goes back to the early 80s. The Dodgers made this some shitty local promo for the Dodgers promoting the upcoming season. God, you ever heard the whole thing?
I don't think I've made it this far ever.
Yeah, the one we used on your radio show was actually an edited version, so it cut out a lot of the verses, and it's just mostly choruses.
Yeah, Jim Bob probably did that. Yeah, that's for you, Puma.
It's a good time to talk some baseball.
No, not really. I was going to mention that my girlfriend went to a baseball game last night.
Oh, what you do? Go to a Nippon Ham game?
Last night, Nina went to see the Hanshin Tigers versus the Chunichi Dragons of the, what do you call that league? Nippon League?
No. That's Nippon is the
team.
That's a team.
What is the league called? The Japan League.
It's the Japan League.
Liga de Japan. In Osaka. So I think it's Hanshin that plays in Osaka. I think Hanshin's not a town. It's the name of the sponsor, the company.
It is the Nippon Professional.
Okay, I'm right. The Nippon. I believe the Hanshin Tigers are the ones that play in Osaka. So they took a train into Osaka, Japan last night. And Nina's review of the game, it's, quote, 10,000 times better than any Astros or Rangers game I've been to.
I kind of believe that.
She said, and if you're watching it on YouTube, LG's running some video that Nina made last night. She said it's kind of like watching the Mexican national team play soccer. That's how it is for rando baseball.
Oh, so it's full of homophobic slurs being chanted by full crowds of people?
Don't be an asshole. No, of course not. That's got. Go ahead. Why you?
I thought it was similar to a Mexican national team game.
Outside of the homophobic slur.
Go outside of that.
Jammed to the gills and everybody's going ape shit. No one sits down and they're banging stuff the whole time. It's like going to an international soccer game.
We traded him.
And she said she loved it. And it's fine if I ever go to Japan. I don't never really wanted to. And I haven't really been
How long
jealous.
is this song?
They had 25 guys. I'll have to get lines in.
It's like 4.5 minutes.
Okay, I think we can cut that
She
back.
was just saying that she had a blast. You know?
I bet it's amazing.
This is the first time that I've actually been kind of jealous that I'm not there. She got to go to the ball game. They're going to Hiroshima today to look at World War II sites. That is another thing she's going to be doing that I'm super jealous of. But going to the ballpark last night, that was kick-ass.
She should go see Oppenheimer in Japan.
Are they even showing Oppenheimer in Japan?
They showed Schindler's List in Germany?
They did? No, surely not. Surely not. I read about the Oppenheimer movie.
I'm excited.
Think I want to see it.
It looks amazing. We go see it at River Center IMAX because it is full. I don't understand enough about
River Center's there's only 30 theaters in the world that can show this film in the full 70 millimeter format that he shot it in.
Oh. I knew he would know.
And River Center is the only theater in San Antonio that has that capability.
Oh.
Also, there's only 2 theaters in Texas. Dallas and San Antonio have the only 2 theaters that have full 70 millimeter film capabilities.
The big Dallas IMAX theater at the museum up there.
Never been.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I've never been to the River Center IMAX.
Park
if you've never watched a film in 70 millimeter, it blows everything out of the water. I watched Tarantino's Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter, and yeah, you got to watch it.
You ever put it on NFL Network and catch an old classic 90s game that's recorded in SD?
All the time.
Right. And you look at that and you say, how did we watch sports like that compared to what we have now?
Yeah.
That's basically what IMAX is compared to even like 4K television right now.
Have you been to the Omni Theater in Fort Worth?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I don't know what millimeter that is.
That's
the greatest screen I've ever watched.
That's more like screen in the round though, because it's
LG. You ever been in one of these theaters that it's ovular?
It's like a sphere theater.
It's like half a sphere. You need.
I don't think I have.
A guy,
it's awesome.
A guy that has the interest that you have. You need to go. We need to go up to Fort Worth again. You need to go with me, or just go and go to the Omni Theater. I don't even give a shit what you see. They usually have a bunch of independent films and documentaries. I saw a documentary there on the '89 earthquake in San Francisco.
Saw a documentary on the Top Gun program there.
The seats are like reclined where you're almost facing the sky like this. It's comfortable, but you're like way back here. And the screen is shaped like half an oval. And it's all the way to the ground. Like the screen comes out of the ground and goes all the way up over your head and even behind you. But that's why your seat is facing upward like this. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. So that being said, I've never been to the River Center IMAX or the whatever you're talking about in Dallas. Never.
It's similar to that.
Yeah.
That feeling that you described, but not as intense of full behind you or in the sphere. But it's the precision, the crispness of the film versus a normal movie film.
No, I want to.
Extremely noticeable.
But that all be to say, I do want to see Oppenheimer. That guy got wronged by this government.
Oh, I mean,
that guy got fucked over by this government.
Add him to the list.
I know. Add him to the list. All right. The other thing Nina's done that I thought was really cool. You have this, LG? I think he does.
Nah.
We have our very first ever Asian-based. Come on now, Spurs.
Come on now, Spurs!
Oh, great. We didn't hear it.
Oh, there she is doing it. See if you can pump it up.
Let's see if we can replay.
Oh, he's gonna be mad for 2 days.
There we go.
Come on now, Spurs!
Okay, that's my girl. Now, if you're not watching it, obviously you just hear the audio. We have a new drop, by the way. You can pull that.
Yeah, I snagged that.
That's not copyrighted. I think I got the rights to that. We have it. That was Nina on the base of Mount Fuji with the mountain in the background, screaming, "Come on now, Spurs." Look what you've done.
It's insane.
Done.
It's absurd. The fact that people in rural Japan are hearing the work of... No, it's absurd. That's absurd.
You know what's hilarious is Nina's not shy.
Sure.
Clearly. And she said, if you see the video, and I tweeted this out, I think yesterday or the day before, because everyone's so polite there.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of random yelling in public.
Yeah, you don't get, "Come on now, Hansheen!"
That's right.
Now, they were going apeshit at the baseball game, to be fair. But in just
time
like
and place.
Places like that, they're very time and place.
Right.
Lawrence has been to Japan.
It's an orderly culture.
Yes. You just don't make a spectacle of yourself in random places. And so as she started to scream, "Come on now, Spurs," she just felt eyeballs like, why? Does someone need to call someone for her? She needed help.
She needed help.
She's doing a bit. It's funny. So anyway, thank you, baby, for doing that.
Where is Fuji on the rank of like highest mountains in the world?
Oh God, I don't know.
I mean, Everest. Is it taller than Kilimanjaro?
No, because I know it's not, because they took a cable car and damn near went to the top of it.
Okay, it's just
they got on one of these crazy cable cars. Takes you, basically it allows you to almost climb to the top of Fuji on a cable car. I don't know. You can't comprehend the true depth of it unless you're there looking at it. I don't know. Check it out. But it's just extremely famous.
Right.
You start naming off most famous volcanoes and mountains go, Fuji's top 5.
Yeah, see, that's why I always wonder how, what marketing genius has made it where I know Fuji, but not, Kamet or Kanjit Sar or some of these other ones.
So shout out to my little frijolito. She's out there with her son, and they are just blowing the midnight oil, boy. She is tired. She's running around with these 2 kids all over Japan, and they're just making her she's with 2 boys that are 19 years old, and she's just trying to keep up with them. And it's just, I need to take that woman on a chill vacation when she gets home. Something
Have you started
nice and easy?
You started the countdown yet?
All over Japan. I'm fine.
How close? What are we a week into it now?
Not quite.
Tomorrow?
No, she left Wednesday.
Okay.
So tomorrow will be a week. She's gonna be gone about 2.5 weeks. I'll be fine. I'm good.
I'll be fine.
We're good. But I do need to take her on a little vacation. Thank you, babe, for sending that. Okay. Well, what else before we get?
Yeah, that's spectacular.
Shout out to Austin Andrade. Did I mention this yesterday?
No. How'd he do?
He won.
Hey!
I don't know why the paper hadn't picked up on this. I don't know. I'm not even sure if he's home yet. This past weekend in Portugal, the Mike Taylor Show's own Austin Andrade from the west side of San Antonio, Texas, in Portugal, became the world's strongest Latino man. We talked about Austin the other day when we were just trying to figure out what the hell is a Latin. Can you go to the world's strongest Latino contest if you're from Italy or Portugal?
Dumbest episode we've done.
Dumbest
of
ever.
The 100.
It don't matter. That Tex-Mex man from South Texas whooped all their asses. He is the strongest Latino man on the planet. And they've been posted a bunch of video on his Instagram page. Dude, that guy is picking up like fucking tree stumps over his head. You know, these strongman contests, they'll take tree stumps and they'll put holes in them, put handles, and you pick up the entire tree. Like the whole damn, not even a stump. You know, these crazy ass Iron Man contests. You've seen these, not Iron Man, but these strongman, like they're pulling 18-wheeler trucks and shit.
Oh, and
hauling the big rocks and stuff. Yeah, he did. They were doing all that stuff over there.
The keg throw.
Pretty much.
Keg throw over the wall.
So the strongest Latino in the world is our own Austin Andrade, who was on this show 2 weeks ago. Yeah, pretty cool, man.
There's no curse when it comes to the strongest Latino in the world.
I need to go meet him. He was such an affable guy, too, on the air that night with us. Such a just chill, hey, guys, super sweet guy. If you're talking to him on the phone, you think he was 5'4", $110. He's quite the opposite. So shout out to Austin Andrade, the world's strongest Latino man. Segment brought to you by R&R Auto Glass. They are easy to find right there by the airport at 281 in Tacoma. If you're a dude and you have a busted glass in your car, things are not well. And so you need to find someone who is local and close to you, so it does not matter where you live in the city. R&R Auto Glass is right there for you at 281 in Tacoma. Let's say you're going southbound on 281. You exit Tacoma, you take it right. They're about a quarter mile on the left-hand side. It is the only place to ever get glass fixed in this town. It is San Antonio's locally owned and operated R&R Auto Glass. Make sure you go in there and ask them about the Taylor Especial. All right, it is Ass Whip Tuesday today. Lots of ass whips in here. Jive Jumbo Fisher. All this heat, no rain is a gigantic ass whip. What is Jive Jimbo Fisher? I don't even want to go. You know what? Never mind.
Excuse me, stewardess.
The heat, no rain, idiots at the 3 free open boat ramps over at Canyon Lake. All right. Thank you, Jive Jimbo.
Oh, it is fight at the boat ramp season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough of them?
Exactly. And everyone trying to get their boat in first thing in the morning.
Redneck brouhaha.
I cannot tell you how many times I saw punches thrown at Lake Whitney over
fucking boat
fighting
ramp.
over
I was
boat
here
ramp.
first.
Exactly. You can get that piece of shit out of the way so I can back my boat up in there. That thing ain't even going to float.
You ought to go last just because your boat's so damn shitty.
All white trashy like that?
Accurate.
Beans a Million 21. The Saharan dust is my ass whip. Are we having that
is
again?
That what's
is it back in here again? Is that the Saharan African dust? Damn it, Africa.
I was about to say, I feel like anytime that's just like the go-to. I mean, I was like, goddamn African dust again.
Or are we just being racist?
I think what are we doing? I think it's potentially somewhere in the middle.
Oh, God. Metal Neck Gale. Greg Abbott ordering Border Patrol agents to push babies into the Rio Grande River, also putting wiring in the river to hurt immigrants.
Let's do some more research on that.
No way they're pushing kids into the river. Or has it come to that finally?
Or has it come to that? Because that's one of those, as I was watching the who's who of alt-left media tweet out the warped headline of DPS agents are ordered to shove kids into the river.
Yeah.
The sensational nature of that. Well, I think...
It's too much. No way.
I think there's probably the truth in between the middle of it where...
Maybe 2 dipshits did it. That don't mean they were told to.
Or it means they were told literally hold that ground and don't let anyone past you.
They didn't mean
that's
hurt
how
children.
they interpreted it.
Yeah, let's get the
I can't imagine there is in writing mandates to shove kids back into the river. But that is how, I mean, that is the outcome of what happens because of the situation there on the border. Have you seen any of the temporary floating divider they've put up there?
No, I don't know.
As a lover of free flowing, unabated rivers in Texas,
me too.
It's really pretty painful to watch.
Are you anti dam building?
Yes, 1,000%.
1,000%. Yeah.
let the natural rivers do what they do.
Absolutely. JGome21, the fact that you bailed on coming to Tokyo with Nina next time, but I understand. Thank you, JG. JG in Tokyo.
Oh, checking in.
Yeah, this show, I was going to go with her, but then this show got rolling. I didn't know that we were going to start this show every day when we did, because I was in a negotiation period with my former employer. And my daughter's now here, and we got senior citizen dogos, and I didn't want this show to lose its momentum and made the decision to go ahead and stay home. Also, saved me some money by not going to. So, sorry, JG. We'll get you on the backside. Shout out to all Thunderdomers in Tokyo, and we do have at least one. Steven's in here. My pup's waking my ass up early in the morning every day to go out. I mean, hey, man, I got 5:45 wake-up call. I told you, it's unbelievable. Without fail. No matter what time I take my dogs out for the last time at night, they wake me up at 5:45. If I took them out at 3:15 in the morning, they'd still come in there at 5:45. I took them out at 7:30 at night as the last time. They'd still come in there the next morning at 5:45. It's incredible. So I just know I better get my ass to bed. It's almost midnight because I'll be getting up at 5:45. And what happens is normally I'll get up and like, well, I'll get up, take the dogs out, and just go back to bed. And of course, I try to do that, and all this shit gets racing through my head, stuff I need to do, responsibilities, things, and I just wind up staying awake. So I'm with you, Steven. You can give the dogs away or quit bitching about them. You wanted them, you got them. All right, Eric's sitting here. Oh, Mark Anthony. The heat and those annoying hissing bugs that only come out during the summer. Those hissing bugs. You mean the locusts? They're all starting to die now, thankfully. I'm starting to see a lot of the bodies around my apartment.
You're starting to see the casings.
Yeah. I don't like the word cicada. I refuse to say it. It's locusts. Going with locust. That's what I prefer.
Are they the same?
I think they're very similar.
They're
a locust and a cicada?
And the fact that they're both insects? I think they're...
Are they different?
Pretty sure.
They sure act the same.
Locusts...
They'll all look alike.
Cicada, okay. Cicadas are on like 7-year cycles. I don't think locusts are on...
What are locusts? What am I seeing dead all over my apartment complex?
Locusts.
Those are locusts.
Yeah, not cicadas.
Okay. Locusts have an amazing life situation. You see what they do? When they're born, they stay underground an entire year, just chilling in the dirt for a year. Then they dig their way out of the dirt, find a nice tree or a bush, and start all that fucking all that loud-ass noise. You know what that is? Trying to get nookie.
Sure.
And then they mate, and then they die. That's their life. They're born in the dirt. They stay in the dirt for a year. They come out. They get laid. They die. That's what they do. So I'm not sure what the point is, but that's what they do. I read anyway in the paper.
Yeah, cicadas 13 or 17-year cycles.
Damn.
And locusts are just a form of grasshopper.
Here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So those are cicadas we're hearing then? Oh, everywhere you go?
I think those are locusts you're hearing, because it's not a cicada cycle right now.
Oh,
because we had cicadas
but they
like
sound the
3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, whatever. You know what? Hissing bugs.
There you go.
Let's go with hissing bugs. John's in here. The Laredo jury giving former Border Patrol Borgos Obulus 2 life sentences early this morning instead of the death sentence. He killed his son and his ex-girlfriend 5 years ago. He was married with kids at the time.
Why does he get reprieve from the death sentence? Because he was a state agent?
No, see, again, I don't want to start doing that either.
No. That's what I'm saying. What's the judge referencing to?
We don't give people the death penalty like we used to.
I mean, what are you saying? Like not like we used to in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone way down. I know you don't like you're against any of it.
Correct, yeah.
But in the 2000s in the 90s under Governor Bush, he was doing 1 week there for a while. We were putting to death more people at one point in the late 90s, I think, than like Egypt. Who would cut toes off and shit.
Yeah. We were the world's biggest purveyor of government-sanctioned murder.
Yeah, we kind of were. Certainly led America, but Texas does. Maybe he didn't get the death penalty because we just don't use it like we once did, which is good. I'm pro death penalty, but only rarely and it's got to be very, very special situation
So, like,
for me to
when
be
a
down.
guy kills his son and ex-girlfriend?
Again, I don't know anything about the case. I need to read up on the case. That's terrible,
But
and I
why
can see,
does-
well, let's consider it, but let me read up on it.
How does that change your opinion
It
on
all
whether
depends.
a kid was killed? That's not enough for you to say that if you believe in the death penalty.
Yeah, right.
Use it.
Correct, but again, I don't want to. I don't overreact like that. I'd like to hear the case and read it.
I guess that's where I get lost in the justifications of the death penalty. So you're like, not you, but it just feels like proponents of the death penalty have a very weird relationship with death. Like, they're pro-life for unborn, they're pro-death
Don't
for
put us all in the
criminals.
same bubble.
I'm not. I'm just saying
pro-choice.
There's
and
right.
pro-death penalty.
But for the most, on the whole, the group that is most supportive of the death penalty is leaning more pro-life and anti-pro-choice. Like there's room for everybody somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm not saying one is bad and one is right, but that's the thing for someone that is anti-death penalty that's been so hard for me to understand why that death is acceptable, but another death, like, it doesn't feel like it's consistent. And just in the logic of death, like, all death is not viewed equally, which is really weird to me.
You're picking on conservatives. Conservative people feel that any unborn child should be protected at all costs because they have no rights. They're completely innocent. They have no control.
Right.
Once you're alive, now you have control on what you're doing. And if you kill a bunch of
And you can
kids, you ought to be
justifiably
put
be
down.
killed.
Yeah, that's the justification of it. Yeah,
That doesn't feel very biblical.
I don't read that
It
either.
feels more Hammurabi, eye for an eye.
I will. Sounds like the Taylor codes.
Yeah, it's exactly what. And again, that's why I
Now, I'm
struggle.
also pro-choice.
I struggle
mind
to
you.
see the principles
Very pro-choice.
that are behind the foundation of
Very
that.
pro-choice. I think the outlawing of abortion in Texas is wrong. I think this state has backpedaled like Nelly Cruz in the World Series for a
that
long
was
time right now. We got it in. This state has regressed.
You did a baseball boogie and didn't even let me talk about the Rangers' 4-game
We'll get
win
into it
streak
later.
out of the.
We have
break.
not. This state is nowhere near what it used to be. We need to make Texas great again. But it's gotten too far gone one direction, and we've lost the moderates, and it's unfortunate in government. All right. Hank the realtor. He don't give a damn how you think about those things. He just wants to help you with your real estate. It's Hank the realtor from Vortex Realty, the official real estate agent of Mike Taylor Live, and Thunderdomers everywhere serving Bernie, New Braunfels, and the San Antonio area, of course. We have a lot of houses right now that are for sale. Got a lot of shortage on homes, too. It just depends on really the zip code you live in. So it's real hard right now dealing in real estate. So get a Thunderdomer who's got your very best interested heart involved, and that is my guy, Hank the Realtor. So if you're thinking about selling and you want to know what your property might be worth, go get yourself what they call a free market analysis. He'll run comps on your place for free. Text him to the number 300-1121. Of course, it's 210. 300-1121. He also works with our official mortgage guy, Brad Hardwick, so they can get into cahoots together and take care of you if you're in the real estate business and you need some stuff done for your house or whatever it is. Hank's the guy. Hank Perez, the real estate agent you should call. Hank! He's Thunderdome. If you need a real estate agent, call Hank. Hank!
Come on now, Hank!
Hank Perez.
There it is.
Ah, yes, sir. All right, we'll get some quick ones in and get out of here. Curtis, Mother Nature, this heat is super ridiculous.
It feels like it was a cool breeze this morning when I
At night in the morning,
outside.
little breeze. Yeah. Kerry Clack wrote a column in the Express News this week and basically
Great.
saying, y'all, this is called South Texas. Of course, it's hot.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, it's hot.
I mean, granted,
It gets hot here.
we had our
It gets hot.
3 most hottest days in human recorded history
Well,
last
the Earth's
week.
changing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drastic shift.
Yeah, no shit. So, take care of yourself because this shit's hot.
Cover your butts. It's hot.
Yeah, the world's gotten hotter. Penelope, shopping for my son's school uniforms and all with all those Disney moms at the mall. Well, that sounds like something I don't want to be doing. Uniforms. I'm pro-uniform, though. I am. I like it. The Taylor codes also would mandate school uniforms in all public schools.
Fastest Mike showing up again.
Kimmy Nunez having to go to a work meeting at 3 o'clock right in the middle of my day off. Chris.
Wait. If you're off, like
mandated meeting.
Fuck you. It's my day off.
Some of those
I'm not doing it.
No, I had some of those at iHeartRadio.
Oh, man, I'm defiant. If I am off, I'm not doing anything.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like, that is my time. You don't get to dictate that.
Chris is in here. This bitch-ass heat, man. Everyone wants their job done fast and now until they see the cost of getting it done.
Oh.
I'm going to start charging people 100% upcharge. Upcharge. That wasn't even a fucking word when I was a kid.
I had to ask the assistance of a maintenance man yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, shit, I got to get home.
That required him climbing into my attic.
Oh, God.
In the middle of the
day.
Give
him some ice water?
Yeah, no, we're good.
I got to get out of here.
Oh, well then.
I bought my daughter a bed.
They're about to deliver
finished.
Let's go. We're done.
We're done. I bought my daughter a bed yesterday at Living Spaces. That's
we
right.
could write a new jingle for them.
I know. I've tried to. They won't reach out to me, the bastards. And I bought a bed there because it's beautiful. And the guy's going to be there soon. I got to let him in and get the dogs put out. All right, that's it. We're done. Thank you, boys. It's been an hour and a half again. Son of a bitch. Thank you to DJ LG.
Feels like a trend.
Thank you to Puma. It's not going to be one. I'm going to fix it starting tomorrow. That's it. We're done. Thanks, everybody. 100 shows in. 101 is mañana. See y'all then. Love you hard. I've got a lot better at this YouTubing.
Come back, you puppy!
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
This is Rob